Hello everyone, it is Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. And today we are going to be going over my favorite pens over the $300 range. Now, there's no video for 300 to 400, 400 to 500, etc. because I wanted to put this all in one video because these are all the pens that I own that are over the $300 range. There's just even in this, I feel like it's quite a lot to have pens in this price range because I know that this is not a price range that is as easily accessible as other price ranges are. So I'm very mindful of that fact that I am very grateful to have pens in this price range. But I also wanted to highlight as well that the over 300 can range from 300 to well over that. And I wanted to address each one of these pens because one, it's not necessarily that I'm going to choose my favorites out of this bunch because they're all my favorites. It's more so that I want to really just think about why I've purchased within this price range and what makes it worthwhile for me, or is it worthwhile for me to have purchased in this price range. So I've put this actually in order of least expensive or the lowest price in the $300 range all the way up to the most expensive. So the first one that I'm going to show here is the Sailor and Wancher Pro Gear. This is the Frosted Sake with an 18 karat rhodium fine nib. Now this I purchased from Pen Realm at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and this is exactly $300 US. Now for a gold nib pen, but also a Sailor pen, the Sailor pens are definitely higher up there in terms of pricing. And for me, like if I converted this to Canadian dollars as well, it definitely puts the price up a little bit higher. Why was this worth it for me when I purchased it? For one, I had saved up a certain amount of money to be able to spend at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and this was within my budget. I hadn't purchased any other pens at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. This was my only pen purchase, and I had the budget for it, and I had saved up for it. So I guess it was a splurge for me, and I felt that the colors of this resin were yelling out to me, but also I loved the fact that I could have this nib tuned and smooth by Kirk Spear, and it's just a pen that I'm gonna love and remember from the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. The next one on top of that is actually the Sailor and Hachimonji pen, and this is the Kobuzakura or the Cherry Blossom. This also has an 18 karat rhodium nib in fine. Again, another Sailor, which for me, I thought I had sworn off Sailors because I wasn't a fan of the feedback on the nib, but because I was at the San Francisco Pen Show and I had an appointment with Kirk Spear and I knew how well he tuned my nib on my Wancher, then I made the purchase of this pen. Again, with that, I had saved up a bit of money to be able to spend at the San Francisco Pen Show. But also when it came to spending this amount of money, I had looked at my purchases for 2025 and I had been very intentional about purchasing, especially from any out of the country vendors, so not Canadian vendors. I wanted to purchase them at a pen show in person, and I knew that I wouldn't have any other opportunity to purchase this pen in person except at the San Francisco Pen Show. So the price of this, the Sailor Hachimonji, was $390 US at the San Francisco Pen Show. So I saved on shipping or any customs fees by purchasing it there. But this one for me is definitely well worth it. I don't think I'll purchase any other Sailors, especially if they're ones that I'd have to have shipped to Canada, especially with customs fees and shipping and things like that, it just increases the prices of those more. So if there are any other sailors in my future, they will only be ones that I purchase in person. But I'm pretty happy with these two, and they were definitely ones that I saved up for. The next one here is the Pelikan M800 in the brown black. This was actually a grail pen for me, and I don't say that very often right now about pens. I purchased this off of eBay, and this came with a fine nib that I actually had ground down to an extra fine cursive smooth italic. I love this pen so much. I love the brown and the striation here, and then the brown cap and finial. And I love the way that the Pelikan nib writes. Now I purchased this off of eBay, and this was $406 US, and I think that included shipping as well. And I don't think, no, that's wrong. I did have customs charges on top of that as well, which really increased the price of this for me. Would I have paid that again for a Pelikan M800? Pelikan M800s do run around that price range. So I say around that price range, but to get an M800, which the brown black is one that you hardly ever see anymore, hardly ever find, that was well worth it for me to find it at the $400 price range. So love this, and I love the fact that I now have a brown Pelikan in my collection. It writes beautifully. Yeah, that's all I can say. The next one, next higher up in price, is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande in angel skin. This has a 14 karat rose gold nib in fine, and it's just stunning. And I purchased this from PenChalet back in 2000 or 2022, and this was purchased at $440 US. I didn't pay or I didn't pay all of that. I had saved up affiliate credit from PenChalet, and that was really the only way that I had been able to afford this, was that I had saved up affiliate credit to be able to purchase this. And with a lot of these, it comes with saving, but also using up affiliate credit, which I'm very thankful for. And thank you for all of you who have used my affiliate links. It has helped me so much with these purchases, and I'm so grateful for that. So my first impression of this pen actually was that it was too big. I wasn't sure if I liked it. I wasn't sure if I would ever purchase this pen again. But the longer that I've had it in my collection, which is almost 3 years that I've had this pen now in my collection, I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of this. It's a beautiful pen. I love the rose gold trim. I love the way that this pen writes. It's one of those that was an investment for me when I first purchased it, and will now probably stay in my collection forever. So that is my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande in angel skin. The next one, here we go, is one that I purchased, I feel like, spontaneously on a whim, and probably not my best decision. This was purchased at the Chicago Pen Show. It's the Esterbrook Model J in peachy caramel. And I'm trying to remember the exact price in American, but I know that once it was converted to Canadian, because I put this on my credit card rather than paid cash, that was the first mistake. This came to about $524 Canadian. So this was a very, very expensive Model J. And while it is a prototype, I don't think I would pay that type of money for this again. All of the other pens that are listed here have gold nibs. This has a steel Yovo nib. It's extra fine. It writes really well, but for the price, paying that much for a prototype was just too much. And I feel like I purchased it on a whim without really thinking it through. I won't sell this, but it's one of those purchases that I feel like in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have made it. And even if it is a prototype and probably one of a kind, it's not one that I think would have been worth that price, unfortunately. I still love it, but for the price, I wouldn't have paid that. I really wouldn't have paid that. I feel like, especially for a steel nib like this, yeah, just basically saying that for the price that I got this for compared to, for example, what I got the Model J in the antique rose or the violet. Like I got the violet. I can't show that here because it's in my drawer, but I got the violet version of this for basically $150 US because I was able to get it at a last chance, which was insane. And I feel like that was a more reasonable price. This was definitely not one of my favorite purchases in this price range because of comparing it to everything else on this pen tray. Probably the one that was least worth the price, if I can say that. All right, moving on. Not saying that I don't love this pen. I love this pen, but the price has definitely altered my overall opinion of it. The next pen is the Waterman Carene in Sea Green Shimmer. This one was also a grail of mine. Ever since I purchased the Waterman Carene in Amber, I looked at all the possible different versions of this pen out there, and I saw this Sea Green Shimmer, I believe, on, I cannot remember her channel, Kirsten's channel, and I will list it in below. But when she posted hers, I thought, I need to find one. I need to find the Sea Green Shimmer because I just love the way that resin looks. I also love the way the Waterman Carene writes. And I found this on eBay as a set with a roller ball, I believe it was. And for the set on eBay, I was able to purchase this for just over $500. And I think I'm taking into account shipping and customs fees that I had to pay for that because I believe this came all the way from Japan. Hold on here. No, that's incorrect. This was $500 Canadian, $500 Canadian off of eBay for the fountain pen and the ballpoint set. So not 500 US, 500 Canadian. And this one was one that I had been looking for a while. So I had also been saving for it for a while. Would I have spent that much money on just the fountain pen? Probably not, but because I got it in a set, I thought, okay, if I wanted to, I could sell the ballpoint. I haven't yet, actually, because I think that's also beautiful. But for the set, the Sea Green Shimmer, which is no longer readily available, I was willing to pay that price for it. So I think I actually sold a few pens, and actually for a few of these, oh yes, going back to the brown black, I sold my M600. I sold two M600s, I think. I sold a couple of pens to be able to purchase this one. And then I sold a few pens to sell this one as well. So a lot of the pens in this price range, I sold other pens in my collection as well to be able to afford these. So the Waterman Carene in Sea Green Shimmer, again, one of those limited edition ones that are no longer readily available, which is why I paid the higher price point for it. But it's gorgeous, and I will never be selling that. Next, we have the Pelikan M800 in the green black. I purchased this from Atlas Stationers 2 years ago, and I used my Atlas affiliate credit for it. Without the credit, this would run retail at about $500. The first time that I tried this pen was actually at the San Francisco Pen Show in 2023. When I held it in my hand, I thought, oh my gosh, why do I like this pen so much? And I liked it so much better in the hand than I did the M600 or the M400. So I saved up my Atlas affiliate credit to be able to purchase this, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm very grateful for, again, every person who's ever used my affiliate link because it definitely helps me with the bigger purchases like this. So this comes with an extra fine nib, and just look at how beautiful that is. For me, I think with the price that you can get this from Atlas Stationers, for example, and use an affiliate code with it, you save quite a bit of money on that as well. So Pelikan M800 in green black. Whew. And last but not least, this is the most expensive pen in my collection, and I don't see myself purchasing any other pens that are more expensive than this, but I know, such is life, you never know. But this is the Pelikan M1000 in the Renaissance Brown. This was purchased with an extra fine nib, so it's an 18K extra fine nib. And I had purchased this originally. Actually, there were a couple of places that I purchased it. First, I purchased it from Atlas, and when it first came out, and then I think I went to Endless to purchase it, and then I canceled the order, and then I saw that PenChalet had it, and I had saved up quite a bit of my credit from PenChalet to be able to purchase this. And I would not have purchased this without that credit. It's not one that I feel like I would have spent money on, but I also sold a couple of pens to be able to afford this. This model, the M1000, is the flagship Pelikan model. It's a stunning, stunning pen. I don't see myself owning any other M1000, so I thought if I'm going to splurge on an M1000, it better be one that is just stunning, absolutely stunning with the way that resin is. That nib is massive. I actually had it ground down to a needle point because that extra fine writes like a broad for me because it's so soft and bouncy. But this is one of those pens that will forever live in my collection just because of what was invested into it, but also the way that it writes. It's stunning. That's all I can say. But yeah, those are all of my pens over the $300 mark. And this was a different type of video because I'm not necessarily going, picking my top 5 out of this price range. After this, I don't have, like, this is the most expensive pen that I own. And this was, when I converted it, was $800 Canadian, which actually, I'm trying to remember now how much credit I had. Regardless of that, though, I wanted to be really transparent about the cost of all of these pens just because I know that, like, I don't take the purchases of these for granted. I know that this price range is not one that is easily accessible for everyone. And I also want to point out that when I purchase these pens, it's through saving, it's through selling other pens in my collection, it's through affiliate credit and things like that. So I do see how I'm very lucky and very blessed to have these in my collection. So really, that was the whole point of the video. I wanted to show off what was in this price range. And I'm hoping that by showing my collection in its different price ranges, it helps you decide what price range works best for you, but also what's available for you in those price ranges. Okay, that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you again for watching and have yourselves a great day.